What?
If you know, their flight manifest,
Yeah,
but do you know?
There'll be a record of it, but I think he was, or certainly on most.
You think he was?
Trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, JB Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started.
What else you can think
It
of?
was 24 years ago. I'll be glad to try to find out. And we slept a lot, and we always cut out some time for card games.
About
Well, the one we just been talking about. Hello, sir.
oh, Mr. President. It's on here.
Yes, we can hear you.
Was Jeffrey Epstein on? You apparently took 26 flights on planes connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Was he on every flight you were on?
Was he on every flight I was
Yeah.
on? That's a
If you
good
know,
question.
If you know.
What?
If you know, their flight manifest,
Yeah,
but do you know?
There'll be a record of it, but I think he was, or certainly on most.
You think he was? Well, that's okay. Was Ghislaine Maxwell on every flight you were on, as far as you remember?
The same answer. I think she was, but there'll be a record of it.
Okay. When you took these flights, you're saying a lot of them were on behalf of your foundation or your charitable work, correct?
Yes.
Who did you normally bring on these flights? You know, I assume, employees of the foundation, whatever.
I brought people who worked with me, especially people who would have to follow up on the fundraising, or people who were
Right.
involved in my AIDS work. I bought people who,
Just like I never go anywhere alone. You never went anywhere alone, right?
what, no,
We always have an
and
entourage.
I had the Secret Service with me. And then on occasion, I had people who had volunteered to help us and wanted to see what we were doing.
Right.
For example, I think it was on one of these trips, I think, that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, JB Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started. It's all a matter of public record.
Okay. As far as on your normal trips, could you rattle off, say, the 4 or 5 people connected to your foundation who you remember were most frequently on these trips or were most important on the trips? Could you give us the names?
Well, Doug Van, Justin Cooper, Aaron Magaziner, and I can't remember who else. I'd be glad to look.
Anybody else? We'll give you a couple seconds to think. I can't remember who worked for me 10 years ago, so I don't expect you. But anybody else you can think
It
of?
was 24 years ago. I'll be glad to try to find out who else.
Okay. But when you were on the plane, first of all, what did the plane look like when you got on the plane? Could you describe what it looked like?
It was at first it looked like a commercial airplane. Seats on both sides of the aisle. And typically, our crew kind of filled it up for however many people, depending on how many people we had. We had the staff and the friends of the foundation and people who were doing the work. Then we had the
So it's like a boardroom halfway
yeah,
back.
and then we had the Secret Service further back, and that was it.
Okay. How would you spend your time on these flights? When you go to Asia or Sub-Saharan Africa, those are quite trips. What would you do on these trips?
We would spend a fair amount of time talking about what we were going to do at the next stop. We worked a lot. Then we read a lot and we slept a lot. And we always cut out some time for card games.
I was going to ask you whether you do cards, and you beat me to the punch. What type of cards did you play?
Oh, hell and hearts.
Hearts. I used to play hearts. That's good. You said, was the Secret Service with you every time you went on these trips?
Every time.
Every time. Okay, good.
I have never signed off Secret Service protection.
Okay. Did the Secret Service, they screened all the other passengers and pilots, as far as you know?
They what?
Screen them?
Yeah, They have everybody's name and background and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I asked you about people who were connected to the foundation that you brought along. But I take it if they gave you an airplane, and Jeffrey was on it, there were his staff too, correct?
Yeah, he had some staff on it.
Any of those people you remember, men, women?
Well, I remember Glenn was there, and there were always the other people that staffed the airplane, right?
Right. I think one of the reasons you're successful is you deal with the average guy, right? You like to talk to the average guy. Did you remember the names of any of the Epstein staffers that were, serving you or that you engaged with banter about?
Well, the one we just been talking about.
John T. Davis.
Yeah, Shanta. I remember her, Shanta Davis.
Okay. Anybody else you talked about? Where are you from?
Oh, I talked to a lot of them. One of them was from Hawaii and was a military wife.
Okay.
I remember that, but I don't remember their names after 20
Hawaiian
years.
gal? Was she Asian?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Got a question. Were there ever new people that you remember joining in the? This is kind of spread out over 4 or 5 years, or two or 3 years, I guess. On the 2 years on the flight. Did you ever get to the Virgin Islands other than on these planes? Have you ever been in the U.S. Virgin Islands in your life?
Oh, yes, I worked, my foundation did a lot of work in the Virgin Islands.
And you also vacationed there as president?
Well, yeah, and when I was president, Hillary and I vacationed there, and we liked it very much.
Okay.
But when they had the hurricane in 2017, we went to the islands and tried to help. My foundation did,
Okay.
and we did a lot of work there.
Okay. We have another question. When you read about this, and obviously these files have received a lot of public attention, recently a columnist pointed out that one of the reasons this human trafficking was allowed to exist is there were lawyers, sometimes high-priced lawyers, who were able to bring, I guess particularly from Eastern Europe, Eastern European girls through here, negotiate the immigration laws and such. And particularly some very high-priced famous lawyers were hired, and apparently, I don't know, they couldn't find anything better to do when they left Washington, were engaged in helping, I guess, girls that some people alleged became prostitutes get here from Eastern Europe. Could you comment on lawyers who make money bringing girls from Eastern Europe or other places around the world into prostitution, coming to this country?
Sorry, I'm just to clarify. You just want him to comment on that?
Yeah, I want you to comment. What do you think of these people?
So you're asking his
I don't
opinion.
like it.
What?
I don't like it, but I don't know much about it.
Would you think that? Would you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting the hook. You know how it is. Saved by the bell. Well, why don't I finish that question? Do you think if lawyers help legally or illegally people come into this country for the purpose of prostitution, that they should be disbarred?
Not unless it's illegal to do it. If you passed a law which said it was illegal to provide representation, notwithstanding the constitutional right to
You
get
think they're
one,
sleazy lawyers if they
Yeah,
do it?
no,
Can we
you
get you to
can't.
say that? Sleazy lawyers? We'll say they're sleazy.
For the record, we think lawyers are fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.